All right, everybody. We got our next guest joining us this evening, and I'm pretty excited about welcoming him back onto the show. It's been about a year, maybe longer. I'm not sure the dates. We'll look into that during the interview to find out when he was last on the show, but very busy, looking to looking for some redemption on June 22nd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, as he rematches Johnathan Banks from the disappointing fight in November. But without further ado, this is one of the top heavyweights in the world, heavyweight superstar, Seth Mayhem Mitchell. Seth, thank you, my man, for joining us here on ATG Radio tonight. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, dude, it's a pleasure, bro. And I first and foremost, I know you've been, you've done media rounds. You've spoke to a lot of people in the media. I want to try not to ask you the same questions you've been asked a bunch of times. But, I want to first and foremost, I want to give you props. Obviously any losses in any sports. I mean, you're a multi-sport athlete yourself, Seth. Anytime you lose, it's a disappointing thing. That's obviously what happened in November in the heavyweight division. I want first and foremost, I'm going to give you props for getting right back in there ASAP. I know you would have been in there, I think it was 2 months ago, a lot sooner than June. But first and foremost, big props, much respect for you getting right back in there and going in there to try to redeem yourself.
Oh, thank you, man. I mean, that's what it's about. I want to fight, big fights, and unfortunately I lost the first fight. Definitely don't think that's going to happen this time, but like I said, when I went back in the dressing room, I asked 2 questions. How far did it set me back, and when can I get the rematch? That's what I wanted from jump. Not, saying I didn't underestimate Johnathan. He did what he was supposed to do that night, but I definitely feel that I could show a lot better, and I'm a better fighter than what I showed.
Now, just 2 days ago, we talked to Johnathan Banks on here. Actually, we did try the schedule conflicts and stuff. We did try to get you guys on the same show at the same time. Not the same time, but the same show back to back. We spoke to Johnathan. He really didn't have anything derogatory to say. Us as us bastard media guys out there, we like to stir up stuff. We like to get you guys to talk smack. I mean, basically what he said is he's confident going on into the fight. He's not overly confident where he's going to underestimate you, but he expects victory in some fashion because he feels that he's just that much better than you. I mean, what could you say about Johnathan Banks and his response to that question that we asked him? What do you think the outcome will be on the 22nd?
I mean, I gave him every opportunity to say that. He won the fight in 2 rounds. That's what he's expected to say. He's going to win. He's going to win by knockout or win by decision. But he should be, very confident. But I'm very confident. I know, even when I watched the fight, I saw a lot of things that I was doing wrong. And anybody that watched the fight saw that I was, winning the fight clearly until, I got knocked down or whatever. And, it's BTTB, back to the basics. I can't, go out there and be too overly anxious and reckless and things of that nature. So that's what we've been working on. But Johnathan, he talks out of the side of his neck. He says good things, and then you hear interviews, and he says bad things or whatever. So I mean, I'm not too much worried about what he's saying or what he's doing. We studied the tape, and but I promise you, it's going to be a different outcome, and you're going to see a different, Seth Mitchell on the 22nd.
My final question before one of my cajillion co-hosts jump at you: the criticism, Seth. I don't know if you saw it all. We've seen it all. We've spoke about it. How does that affect you? I mean, are you able? I know you're a professional. You conduct yourself as a professional. You're not much, with the Twitter beefs and on Facebook, and you live a quiet life basically in some aspects. But the criticism from the media, from the boxing fans, from a lot of the other heavyweights that consider themselves top guys in the division, how have you handled that?
You got to have thick skin. Whenever you're a professional athlete, you have to have thick skin, because if you, read into, your press clippers, and if you believe, all of the hype and everything, if you let that overwhelm you, when things don't go your way, you're not going to know how to handle it. And, you could just look at my track record of how I handle myself. I'm very confident in myself, and I've said from day one, the people are saying what they're saying because of what I've been doing, and I understand that. You know what I mean? This is the business that I've chosen. Whenever you're an athlete, as long as you're doing well, they're going to say good things about you. And when you don't have a good performance or you don't show up that night, they're gonna throw you under the bus, and that's just how it is. But most of the heavyweights out there are just tough. They just hating. They're haters because I'm at a high level. My name is bigger than their name. I've only had 10 amateur fights, or I've only been boxing for 6.5 years, and more people know who I am than them, and I'm on big fighting on big shows. So they're just hating. I don't worry about it. I'm just gonna continue to win, continue to get better, and ultimately get that heavyweight championship. That's my goal. But you gotta have thick skin, and you gotta surround. I don't surround myself around yes men. People that, tell me everything that when I surround myself around good people, I still got the same team from when I walked into the gym first day. So, that's just how I deal with it.
I appreciate that, Seth.
Hey, Seth.
Hey, Seth.
Michael Dahl. Oh. Go ahead, Elliot. I'll let you take that one.
All right. Thanks, Dolph. Hey, Seth, what's going on? This is Ali Vasquez.
How you doing, man? I'm doing great, man. Just got finished hard day at the gym, so I'm good.
That's good to hear. Yeah, you mentioned earlier that things will be different in this matchup. So what exactly have you been doing in the gym, and if any different techniques have you done to not, for another loss for you in the hands of Johnathan Banks?
I get asked that question a lot, and I don't really without giving away my game plan, we've just been working on, a lot of things. But, the main thing is the basic stuff. You can't lunge and you can't reach against a counterpuncher. And those are some of the basic things that we've been working on. But I don't want to give away my game plan. But all I can say is that on the 22nd, you'll see a different Seth Mitchell. You see a much better and much improved Seth Mitchell.
Fair enough. And the fight prior to the Johnathan Banks fight was against Shaz Witherspoon. You got shooken up a little bit before you got the TKO victory. In your last victory, you were stopped. My question to you is, do you have a chin problem? Is that the problem, or is it something else?
I wouldn't say that I have. Anytime you get in the ring and you fighting somebody, that's 200 plus pounds, and you get caught. You can get hurt. Against Chaz Witherspoon, I got hit with shots that were much harder than the Johnathan Banks shots, but I saw those shots coming, and you could take it better. The shots that I got hit with Johnathan Banks, when I saw the tape, I was surprised at myself, you know what I mean? But when you don't see shots coming, they hurt you more. And that's just what it was, being off balance and things of that nature. But it is what it is. I got caught. I didn't cry. I didn't complain about it. I didn't make excuses. Johnathan did what he was supposed to do. All I said is do it again. That's why I wanted the immediate rematch.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And before that loss of Banks, you was on your way to possibly getting a title shot for the WBC title. Plans were derailed after the Banks defeat, but if you do happen to defeat Banks, how far do you think you are from a title shot?
I don't think, first I'd like to say that, my God is very good. I'm very fortunate and I'm very blessed to be able to have that immediate rematch, and that, will put me right back, in line. I told people before the Johnathan Banks fight that, good Lord's willing, if everything went well, I would have my title shot by the end of this year. And with obviously that loss was a 7 to 8 month setback, but I believe if I take care of business on the 22nd, which I'm fully confident that I will, that title shot will come this time next year.
Yeah, well, Seth Mitchell, I think that this is one of the more important and exciting heavyweight fights that we had here in America in a long time. I wish you the best against Johnathan Banks, and can't wait to see you.
Thank you very much.
You know what? I got Seth, stay right there. I got a message, Elliot. Here it comes. Elliot always makes it like we're getting rid of the guest. Elliot, just signing off.
Yeah, I might have to say something else. I apologize.
We didn't want you to leave, Seth. No, I'm breaking Elliot's balls. But no, Mike Goss, I know you wanted to jump in there real quick. Sorry, Elliot. I'm going to get you. I'm headhunting.
No doubt.
Hey, Seth. One of my questions is, back in February, you were supposed to fight Johnathan Banks. He broke his thumb. It would have been a whole lot different if that fight would have happened. I believe that if that fight would have happened then, it was going to be on HBO. Now you got a total change of venue in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. You got a total change of network. It's going to be a pretty shocking thing fight for Showtime. And how? My main question is, what's your mind frame from back in February changed from now? I mean, you had several months to you prepare more. Do you think that's a blessing?
I think everything happens for a reason, and it could have been. I was ready, 100%. I was ready to go, ready to fight February 16th. But everything happens for a reason, and I believe it was a blessing in disguise. Because I definitely feel even more confident now with more time, more training, and that's just how I look at it. I believe that loss happens for a reason. Fantasia just came out with a song. Sometimes you got to lose to win. So, I just believe everything happens for a reason. If you don't look at it that way, you drive yourself crazy. If you say, why did this happen to me? Hey, that's how I put things into perspective.
Well, Elliot mentioned asking if you had a chin problem. I won't be honest with you. I agree with what you said. If anybody, over 200 pounds hits you, it's going to hurt. So the main thing
is a heavyweight division. I agree. It's a heavyweight
defense. It's a lack of defense. But here's what I think, Seth. Take it for what it is. I think that you kind of get goaded into a street fight, and you kind of, easily goaded into a street fight, and we love it. I mean, fans love, heavyweights. They love to throw down. But, is that something you're working on in the gym? Basically not being goaded and basically dictating the action rather than just, getting goaded easy into a fight.
We're working on a lot of things. Again, I don't want to give away my game plan, but you're going to see you're going to be shocked. You're going to see a smarter fighter. You're going to see a smarter fighter. I'm still going to bring that heat, though. I'm going to bring that Pat Riley still. I'm coming to fight, but I'm just going to be smarter. I'm going to my nature is I'm a middle linebacker, very very aggressive nature, but sometimes you got to know when to bring that aggression and when to. You got to be smart. You got to be smarter. So I'm definitely going to be a smarter fighter. You all will see on the 22nd. Y'all going to be like, damn, he wasn't lying.
Hey, well, let me ask you this. I mean, every fighter tells me, hey, I'm a fighter. Lose is not even on my mind. But, you got to kind of think that given your last fight with Johnathan Banks, is this do or die for your career?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's do or die. I'll be lying to you if I said it wasn't a major. It'll be a major setback. Yes, it would. It'll be a major setback, and that's something. When I first this rematch was first going, those things will creep through your mind and things of that nature. Like, what do if I lose? But I said, you know what? I'm not even focusing on that. I believe that I'm better than Johnathan Banks. I'm just going to train as hard as I can, study, learn, get better, and all I'm doing is focusing on winning. Whatever happens is going to happen anyway. God already knows what's going to happen, and we'll deal with that, afterwards. But I tell you, I'm 100% confident that if I go out there and do what I'm working on, what I know I can do, that Johnathan Banks won't beat me in this fight.
My last question. Basically, we got two heavyweights in England a couple months ago. Kind of the same scenario that you're in. Actually, the guy that won the fight is a DC fighter, Tony Thompson, knocking out David Price in just a couple of rounds in England. David Price does the same thing you do. He goes right back for the immediate rematch. What do you think about Tony Thompson and David Price?
I knew when that fight was made that the first fight that David Price was in for a fight. I'll be lying if I told you that if I thought Tony Thompson was going to knock him out in such dramatic fashion. because I didn't. But I knew that Tony Thompson was going. This was a huge step up. I grew up with Tony Thompson. That's who I put in over 500 rounds with Tony Thompson probably, and I knew that he can fight. And he had a lot of experience. And he had 2 losses against Klitschko, but David Price, is definitely not a Klitschko at this time. And so I knew it was gonna be a tough fight for him.
Well, as a guy that's in the same position as David Price, do you think David Price could actually learn enough from this loss and maybe be victorious in the rematch?
In the second fight?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, when you lose a fight, you should learn. They say if you lose a fight and you learn from it, that could be a blessing in disguise. But I think it's still going to be a tough fight. Tony Thompson, he lost to Klitschko twice, but he still, he got a lot of experience, man. He might not hit that hard, but he seems to touch his opponents up, and he'll tell you that he can't punch through a wet paper bag, but he has experience. He's slick, and he has good defense. He's a southpaw. He's just good.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Seth. Of course, you're a Spartan for life. What's the difference between losing in a team sport like football and losing all by yourself in boxing? It's a sport where you get your ass beat. Is it a bitter pill to swallow more so than losing a game in football?
Absolutely. Oh, it's a sickening feeling, man. It took me to get that sickening feeling, like I didn't want to eat, just that sickening feeling in my stomach. It took about 6 days, for me to get that out of my stomach. And, the media, people say that they don't, care about what people say about them and things, of that nature. But I really don't believe that's true. You can't let it make you lose sleep. You can't let it get to you that much. But if you're a good team, a good basketball team, Miami Heat, if they lose a game, people don't say, oh, they're sorry. They're done. They can't do anything. They're sorry. But when you're in an individual sport like this and you lose a fight, everybody, writes you off and, say, oh, I told you this, I told you so. And so that's the stuff you got to look past that. But you got to have thick skin. If you let that, it bothers you, but it doesn't make me lose any sleep. And I think, that's just how you have to look at it. But to get back to your original question, it's definitely a harder pill to swallow, man. It's not like losing a one-on-one tennis match. It's like, you're fighting. It's a barbaric sport, so it's definitely a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, I don't know who exactly said it, but I heard someone say one time, if you show me a guy who's happy after losing, I'll show you a consistent loser. Someone said that. I don't know who it was. Absolutely.
I totally agree.
And you mentioned some heavyweights that have been talking stuff about you after that loss. Who'd you hear talking stuff about you? You want to call out?
I mean, all of them. It does. I'm not worried about nobody, but
Brian Jennings.
But my next opponent. That's the only person I'm worried about. I ain't focused on it because I really don't care. Most of them people that's talking, they want to get where I'm at. So I'm not worried about them, man. I'm gonna take care of this business on the 22nd, and then anybody out there that's been talking trash, if it makes sense, they can get it.
And I know a lot of people have been asking you if you're rushing into the rematch, but it takes time to soak in the proper mindset that it takes to be a great fighter. Like Chavez Jr. had 40-something fights before he had time to take a serious challenge. And you see fighters like Sergio Martinez, he lost some fights early to guys that we just know he'd beat later on. And recently we have Gabe Rosado. You see him learning a lot after every loss. But do you think a part of the reason why Johnathan won was because he's been in that position so many times that it wasn't uncharted territory for him when you had him in trouble early? I mean, the man hung out, and he was extremely close to Emmanuel Stewart for all those years, and it brings your boxing IQ up and your mental preparations up a lot. Do you think you kind of?
Yeah, I mean,
go on. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna say that it didn't help him, but I fought people that had way more experience than me. Timur Bragimov had way more experience than me. Chaz Witherspoon had way more experience than me. When I was, 10-11-0, I fought the Zach Pages, who's fought everybody, who had way more experience than me. So to a certain extent, it could have helped him, but I don't use that as an excuse. I didn't use it as an excuse if people say, well, he was destined to win because, may his soul rest in peace, Emmanuel Stewart passed, and, he had Emmanuel Stewart there with him and things of that nature. But I didn't use that as an excuse because I said if I'd have went out there and stopped him in the second round, then people would have been saying, oh, he shouldn't even have been taking the fight. He had just went to his funeral. He had been training Klitschko. He had too much on his plate. So I don't make excuses. I'm going to just make it happen on the 22nd. Very confident. Very confident.
I think you fell into kind of like the mindset of a lot of big punchers fall into, where you think that not too many guys could stand up to that power, so you didn't have a plan B. Do you have a plan B in case plan A fails this time?
B, C, D, E. Oh, we've been working. This fight has definitely made me a better fighter. And I don't like to talk a lot, because if I don't go out there and take care of business, all that talking is for nothing. So just know that I'm fully prepared, I'm working extremely hard, and I'm fully confident that I will come out victorious on the 22nd.
And I know you wanted that rematch right away. Do you feel a different feeling inside going into this rematch? It's the first time you got beat by a guy and you're fighting a guy who beat you. Is there a different feeling inside of you right now?
Yeah, I mean, this is a big fight for me. It's one thing to lose a fight, but it's one thing to lose, back to back by the same guy, and this is a big moment in my career, and I don't want to take that big setback. This could be, a loss here. It could be a 15-month, 2-month, to get back to where I am now, and that's just something that I don't want to do.
And it's the second time that Johnathan Banks played head trainer for Vladimir Klitschko since Emmanuel passed. How good is Johnathan as a trainer in your eyes?
I've only seen him training that one time, and the people that Klitschko is fighting, I could have trained him. You know what I mean? It's like Klitschko he's a great fighter, and I don't think that he could afford him by himself, in my opinion. But not taking anything away from Johnathan Banks. I'm pretty sure he's been with Klitschko. He knows, him. He sparred with him a lot, so he can give him good instructions. So I'm not taking anything away from him, from his training capability.
And a lot of people think that the rematch usually goes the same way as the first fight, but there's a lot of instances and a lot of fights you could point to where the fighter who lost the first fight won the second one and won the third one if there was a third one. I wish you a lot of luck. I'll pass it off to someone else. Thank you, Seth.
All right, Rufus, are you there? Rufus. All right, I don't know if Rufus is still with us or if he hit the mute. I got to ask another question. You win this fight on the 22nd, Seth. Are you once again the best heavyweight in the United States? Or do you still feel that way? Do you still feel you're the best guy in the U.S.? But winning, does that consensus that you're the top guy once again in the U.S.?
I mean, I've never, like I said before this loss, I let the media say it. I let the people say it. That hasn't came out of my mouth one time. I believe in myself. I believe in my capabilities. I believe that I can, fight with anybody, out there if I'm on my A game. But I let the media say that. That's just how I feel.
Do you think, I guess, you go in there and win impressively, does Vladimir Klitschko open up his door? Are you expecting that? Are you hoping for that? I mean, Seth, I know you're an athlete, you focus on the task at hand, but I mean, look, Johnathan Banks is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. We've heard you say it on this show, on interviews, a million interviews. You want to be world heavyweight champion. That's the goal. Do you hope God opens that door, that Klitschko door, immediately after Johnathan Banks?
I would take the fight. Yes. I mean, I want to be the heavyweight champion of the world. My first business in order is Johnathan Banks, and then after that, I hope bigger fights come. If it's Klitschko, it's Klitschko. If it's somebody else or on a limb, definitely I would like for it to be at least an eliminator.
Fair enough. And final one, just for the giggles on it, man. how is your experience at Golden Boy Promotions? I mean, I think at this point you and Deontay Wilder are working on it. How are they treating you? How's your experience over with Golden Boy? You being heavyweight, those guys, usually catering more to the welterweights and below. How was your time there with Golden Boy?
So far, so good. I don't have any complaints. I believe I've been moved well. I've been taken care of financially for the most part. Getting a lot of fights. Like I said, I just lost this fight, and I'm, back on a major network. And, my team, I got Sharice Salim is my manager, my trainer Andre Hunter, advisor Al Heyman. They're doing a great job. Lauren Shabaka, who helps me with my PR. All of them, I mean, they're just doing a great job. So I can't complain. But at the same time, I understand that this is a business, and I have to continue to give them something to work with. They can want you to win, they can want you to succeed, but it's a business at the end of the day, and I gotta win. I understand that.
Mayhem, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you getting into that. I mean, it's been about a year. We know you're busy. When you're not fighting, you're not training. You're saying you're getting the you time. You know what I'm saying? I know it takes a lot being a fighter, especially at your level. I can't wait for this card. The entire card is going to be sick, man. And the heavyweight division in the United States, as a media guy, as a critic, it's slowly coming back with exciting fights. I mean, I hope you don't become the Floyd Mayweather of the heavyweight division on the 22nd. I like to see you go in there and mix it up. That's what it's all about, man. Them exciting fights for the as a fan. We like to see it. You've been giving it every single time you've been on television. And I thank you for it. I wish you all the best. I can't wait to see this fight, man. The drama, the anticipation to see, and it's all on your shoulders. You know what I'm saying? You have everything to lose and everything to win in this fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way the media presents it to all of us. And that's how
I want it. That's how I want it. I've always said I want to be, when the stakes are high, you're in the right position. That's who you want to be.
And Seth, mention it like this, man. Any of us that who ever get any criticism, we don't just all brush it off. We take it in. If it stays there, we push it out, man. For your sake, bro, because you're such, a personable guy. You're such a what's that? The word I'm looking for. You're accessible to the media, to guys like us. And I hope for the best for you on the 22nd. I like Johnathan Banks. I think he's a great fighter. I just like how the media is on your ass, man. I like how everybody's there, and you have to go out there and work extra hard to prove them wrong. And I'm going to say this for a fifth time, but, man, all the best on the 22nd. And we hope to get you back on the show again. Big shout-out to Lauren for arranging this with us. We hope to get you back up on the show again, talk a little bit more boxing. Maybe we get you on here to talk about some of the other fights coming up when you don't have a fight scheduled in there. That's all right with you, Seth. Real quick, man, on Twitter, shout out the Twitter handle for him, please.
Yeah, that'll be Seth Mayhem 48.
That's
Seth Mayhem 48, and Facebook just Seth Mitchell.
My man, Seth, I appreciate it. And again, sixth time, all the best on the 22nd, my man. God bless you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Seth. Have a great one.
You too.